The Stainless Steel Association exists to point out the advantages of stainless steel and hopefully get people to use it properly. And properly is actually the critical point. So let's go through this. At the end of it, we've all got a questionnaire that I will give you a few minutes to fill out, and then I'll go through and give you the answers, and you can mark it. And I trust in your inherent honesty to show that you've actually understood the thing and can answer the questions correctly. Or you can argue with me about the answers. What I'm going to talk about is a little bit about ASDA, Stainless Steel Association, a few stainless steel applications, just so that you know that stainless steel is being used, quite apart from seeing it around. And then some design points, a bit about documentation, and a bit about the project management. Here we have a New Zealand example of a beautifully shiny new harbourfront piece of stainless steel architecture. So what about ASDA? As I said, we aim to increase the proper use of stainless steel and make it used more. We're a not-for-profit industry group. We've got over 100, actually it's nearly 165 now, 164 I think. And we give cohesive industry representation from the people who dig the chromium out of the ground, because that's an important part of stainless steel, to the people who sell the nuts and bolts that you buy, and the people who put it together. We've been in existence since 1992 and more than doubled the use of stainless steel. And that's not just the natural growth in population, it's actually been quite spectacular, quite apart from that. We have a technical inquiry advice forum. If you go to the website, you can put a question in there and you will get a response, hopefully within a couple of hours, but certainly within 24, about what stainless steel should I use here, or I've got rust spots on my stainless steel, what's wrong with it? To more complicated questions, which may take a little longer to answer. We put out a magazine 4 times a year, which is intended to give you information about stainless steel applications. It's not written in a highfalutin manner, it's written very much as a thing that you can look at, think, and relate it back to your everyday practice. We have a reference manual which is in revision right at the moment. We're planning on getting it out by the middle of the year. It's an enormous document, it's a couple of hundred pages, but it's got all of the stuff that's on our website and a bit more. Other technical publications come from the Nickel Institute or come from us, or we can't give you standards, but we can give you codes of practice which aren't actually standards in copyright. We run educational seminars, this is the equivalent of one. We also run webinars, and we run an annual conference. It's down on the Gold Coast this year in October. And we run an accreditation scheme. One of the things that we've had architects tell us is that it's very difficult to make sure that they get somebody who actually understands using stainless steel, and people think that they're actually learning on their job. This accreditation scheme is us actually going out, talking to the people, assessing their knowledge, and hopefully getting you somebody who's competent at the end of the day. So when was stainless steel first around? 1913. And the first commercial application was as cutlery. It was in Sheffield, and the person who discovered it was a bit entrepreneurial, and he went out and he talked to some cutlers and said, hey listen, I've got this stainless steel, it doesn't rust. Why don't you make cutlery out of it so that people don't get stains when they put their knives down on the nice white Sunday lunch cloth? And that's why it became to be called stainless. No stains on your tablecloths. That's one story anyway. From 1950 through to 2017, it's grown at a rate of about 5.85%, which is more than double the use for all of the other metals, including stainless, of about 2.44. The only thing that's been close is plastic, and plastic doesn't have quite the durability. So let's look at some modern applications. This is Kuala Lumpur, if you've been there and seen the Petronas Towers. It's an amazing structure, very tall, of course it's been in a film or two, and it's got 316 cladding on it, which is profiled so that it doesn't glare. All nice, bright and shiny, lots of sun, but because there's micro profile on it, you don't get the glare. It's 316, so it doesn't get corroded, and Kuala Lumpur is not all that distance from the sea. Then we get some more interesting things. This is the Westfield Shopping Centre in Victoria, and this is coloured stainless steel. That's a durable coating on the surface. It's not durable if you go and scratch it, but there not many things are. But in terms of fading in the sun, it doesn't. It's a treatment that's done in the factory. It works well for smooth surfaces like tubes, like sheet, but it doesn't work if you've got something that you're fabricated and then you say, now I'd like it coloured. This technique unfortunately doesn't work. There are other techniques around, but they're a little more complicated. Here we have a bridge that you may recognise. If you stand up there and look, you might see a little bit more of the safety barrier that's around on this, which is, does that do that? No? Okay. You can see the safety barrier there. It's blackened mesh and it's strong. It's supported on stainless steel angles which go up and arc over. The original design was a lot heavier and it was too heavy for the bridge, so they had to redesign the whole thing in this structure. And when I say too heavy for the bridge, it was actually too heavy for the cantilevered part of the walkway. Quite nice. Here we've got a Wynyard Walk in Sydney. Nice, bright, shiny, ferritic stainless steel. Forms much the same as ordinary carbon steel or zinc aluminum or galvanised, and it's got the durability of a stainless steel. Singapore. If you've been to Singapore, you may have been down and seen this bridge, the Marina Bay Helix Bridge. It's actually two helixes, counter-rotating, and they're made out of a high corrosion resistant stainless steel, and it needs to be because down underneath that is the ocean, and you're in a humid tropical environment, and there is no way in the world you would get anybody to do maintenance on that and keep it looking bright and shiny if it was starting to rust, so you just need the high corrosion resistance. The second feature about this particular duplex stainless steel is that about double the strength of the normal 314 or 316. And they needed that because it is just got to be small enough cross sections so that you don't get the view blocked too much. And the final smart bit about that is they put the sections together, they welded up all the bits, and then they bolted them together rather than trying to weld in that structure, which would be slightly difficult and rather hard to clean up afterwards. Other modern applications, seating, looking out over the ocean. This seating is profiled so that it's stronger. Springs, if you stretch austenitic stainless steel, it gets very strong. It goes from a strength of a couple of 100 megapascals up to 1,000, 1,800 if you're really pushing it. Bolts and screws, cold work them, austenitic stainless steels, the 304, the 316, even the duplex bolts, all different grades of material. But you can make them stronger by cold working them. But there are applications without number. Here we've got the kitchen sink, there's chemical processing, water supply, food and beverage. Food and beverage is an enormous part, particularly the wine tanks, which is really good. Built environment, art works everywhere because they aren't going to be maintained and you need something that's actually going to look okay over the decades. Transportation, buses, chassis, car, chassis, well, not so much. Mainly buses, trains is a big bit. Coal wagons. I know coal's not a nice word sometimes these days, but the coal wagons are made out of a low-grade stainless steel because if you had anything else like carbon steel, then you've got to paint it, and then it gets worn off, and you've got to repaint it. So they use that. Healthcare, hospitals, stainless steel everywhere, anytime you've been to a hospital. And energy and power generation, look, it goes on and on and on. So let's look at some design bits, and I'm just going to run through quickly these 7 points. The durability of stainless steel, which is the thing that everybody knows about. Because of that, you get pretty much an unchanging appearance. Hygienic, yep, easily cleanable. It's recyclable, and not only is it recyclable, but you can often reuse bits of pipe, bits of tank, even bits of sheet. I'll show you an example of that. The CO2 and the energy footprint, You may think, well, hang on a minute, stainless steel, yeah, it's not too low. But in fact, because it lasts so long, the kilogram per kilogram or the megajoule per kilogram per year is quite low. We'll come to that. And volatile solvents, well, there aren't any. Basically, not at all. You don't need to coat it, and it's made out of a stainless, it's the material itself that is durable. So let's go back, 1929. 1913, remember, it was made. The Savoy Hotel in London, Empire State Building, and the Chrysler Building shortly there before. And it's still there. It's still looking bright and shiny, and it's only about a 304 level of corrosion resistance. And it's just durable. Hygienic and cleanable, kitchen, food, production, surgeries, etc. It's an interesting one. There was a stainless steel interior built back in 1952, and it was getting a bit squishy and scratchy, and that's a photograph taken just before they did the refurbishment. And rather than take the stainless steel out and throw it away, they took it out, did a bit of cleaning up, and put it all back. There was some minor design changes, but most of the stainless steel was reused. That was in 2002. So repurposing, or actually just reusing. So how much stainless steel is recycled? Well, there's two parts to this story, because in theory, all of the stainless steel is going to be reused, given that your collection is going to be okay, simply because it doesn't rust away. So provided you've got a good collection system, all of it's going to be. But the trouble is, it's got, say, a 30-year life before you recycle it, and the growth's been going up to 5.8% per year. That means you've got a gap where you can't, and the top 40%, that green 40% there, is the amount that has to be new material. But the rest is recycled. And all of the stainless steel is recycled. Excuse me. This is a bit old in terms